Jefferson, Chief Clerk, Voter Registration.
Dustin Shepler, intern.
From?
Voter registration. Lebanon Valley
School.
College. Okay.
I say you picked up on it really well the first time we were here this time.
Very good. Thank you, Dustin. Welcome.
I would like to convene the election board at this time, and you can proceed.
Good morning. I'm here today to ask permission to run the public notice that is required by the election code. The public notice will be run in 2 newspapers that have distribution in all or part of Lebanon County. The 2 newspapers that we had used in the past have been the Lebanon Daily News and the Hummelstown Sun. Hummelstown Sun has distribution in the Palmyra area. And the public notice, I had given you copies ahead of time. This is fairly large. This is the largest one that we do because we do have to not only list some of the information regarding absentee ballots, our proclamation, but then all the offices that will be in every ballot within the county. Then we also have to have the constitutional amendment question, and then also we have 3 retention questions, and then we also list every polling location in Lebanon County. So fairly large proclamation. Public notice this time.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the advertisement?
Also move, and I have a question then.
It's been moved.
Oh, you moved it.
No, I was asking for a motion.
Yeah, I so moved.
Second.
And questions?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes.
Could you summarize in just a couple of sentences the question for the ballot?
Okay, that is a good question because it is something that has come up not only in our poll worker training, but with the individuals that come, in to vote. We have to be very careful of kind of what we, how and what we say about it, because we don't want to persuade anybody.
Can you just say what the
give.
question is?
Sure, absolutely. The question is referring to, and I'm actually just going to, if you don't mind, I'll read the question.
That's
and
fine.
then we can kind of go from there. Because part of the public notice also has the Office of Attorney General's plain English statement regarding the question. But the question is, shall the Pennsylvania Constitution be amended to permit the General Assembly to enact legislation authorizing local taxing authorities to exclude from taxation up to 100% of the assessed value of each homestead property within a local taxing jurisdiction, rather than limit the exclusion to 1/2 of the median assessed value of all property, which is the existing law?
Thank you.
So that is the question. Does that help with what you were
That
looking for?
helps.
Okay.
Not everyone gets the paper, so.
I understand. Yes, and we do have that question along with the English statement in our office for anybody that wants to review that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Phillips has a question.
Sure.
Just since you're using the Sun as part of that.
Yes.
Are you allowed to use the merchandiser, which would have more coverage and maybe be a little less expensive?
Yeah, the answer to your question is no. We researched that last November. We had solicitor Dave Warner check that for us, and because they do not qualify, the election code specifically says newspaper and describes what a newspaper is in the election code. He did some research for us, and that does not qualify since it is a free
This
publication.
just seems like it's I'm going to ask it every year because
Weekly
as
versus daily.
the newspaper's circulation diminishes, it doesn't seem like that.
And the cost doesn't, it increases.
goes up.
And so, it's one of the things you'll see in my budget that, this will be a very expensive public notice to
I
publish.
suppose that the issue with the merchandiser is that it's not a subscription.
Correct. It's not a paid for and therefore does not qualify as
And
a
not
circulating
daily.
And
newspaper.
we can't use radio.
Correct. It has to be in 2 publications, 2 newspaper publications, correct. That's what the election code is, how it's currently written. I can tell you that there's been discussions, Department of State, with, trying to have that looked at with the General Assembly. Where that will go, I don't know.
Good.
If, trends continue in the publishing industry, newspaper publishing industry, and say the Lebanon Daily News were to go to 3 days a week in a Sunday paper, what would you do?
Consult our solicitor and get his
The
opinion.
Reading Eagle would
honestly.
cover the other end of the
Yeah,
county.
I know that we have used the Patriot News in the past for this.
Patriot is not a daily either.
The frequency doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It's the fact that it's a newspaper, a paid subscription newspaper of general circulation.
Well, then the question about the daily news.
It would be fine.
Is
Yeah,
irrelevant.
because there are, I mean, especially those of you who get to northern Pennsylvania, a lot of areas that are only covered by weekly newspapers. You know, and so the frequency isn't the issue, it's the paid subscription that the merchandiser is not.
Do you know if that changed? Because that used to be part of the reasoning that we were given.
No, I think it was always the paid part. Yeah, I don't think it matters how frequently it doesn't specify daily. It's general, newspaper of general circulation, and it must be a paid. I'm not sure what the reasoning or the logic behind the paid part is, but.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the advertisement as presented by our Director of Voter Registration. We've had significant discussion. Are there any other questions before we call for the question? All right, with that said, all those in favor of approving the advertisement indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Your advertisement is approved. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.